Genesis 5, verse 22. In the prior couple of videos, we got down to the Enoch stage in the genealogy. Now we'll pause because the Genesis genealogy does indeed pause with Enoch, and we'll have two videos taking a look at his very fascinating life. Let's read. Euerestesin de Henoch to Theo, meta ta genesai auton tan Mathousala, diakosia ete, kai egenesen huius kai thugateras. So a lot of interesting things going on here. We're going to start with the conjunction de, so that's moving things forward, but it perhaps even suggests a bit of a pause. We've had a lot of kai, 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 now with the de. Perhaps the translator's thinking, okay, we're going to give a bit of detail here about Enoch. Enoch here is the subject, and then our verb is euerestesin, which is from eueresteo, very simple third singular aorist active indicative. You see that S here. There's a slight lengthening on the front end, and this means to please or to be well-pleasing to someone, and so Enoch was well-pleasing to God here. Now, here's what's interesting. If you're used to this verse in the English translations that are drawn from the Masoretic text, this word here is actually to walk. Enoch walked with God, and so we'll come back to that here in a second, how that's used in the New Testament, but here instead we have the translator taking that probably more as an interpretive gloss. He's pleasing to him. He's not simply like walking with him, perhaps as we saw with Adam in the garden or something like that, but he is pleasing to God. And then we have kind of a parenthetical aside here. We're going to come back and see that he walked with him for a certain amount of time. But let's have this infinitive clause here. So, metata genesai auton. This is a meta plus the article plus an infinitive. Genesai here, this is from genao. It's an aorist active infinitive. And that combination, the meta plus the article plus an infinitive, is something like after. It's a temporal infinitive. So after he gave birth. Now, you'll notice the auton here is accusative, but if you recall from your study of infinitives, the accusative typically plays the role of essentially a pseudo-subject of the infinitive. There's not technically a subject of an infinitive, but the auton here is playing it. So after he referring to Enoch here, begat or gave rise to tan Mathousala. And so we saw Mathousala in the prior video. So that's kind of a parenthetical, if you will. So basically, after he gave rise to Methuselah, then Enoch pleased God, diakosia ete. And so this is 200 years. We saw that in the genealogy video. And then lastly, kai egenesen here, we have genao again, but in this case, with the sigma and the e on the front end, it's now a third singular aorist active indicative. So after Methuselah, he also begat sons, and thugater here in the accusative plural is daughters. So he gave rise to, he begat sons and daughters. Now, this may sound familiar because in Hebrews 11, the second half of verse 5, we read this, for before he, that is Enoch, was taken, we'll come back to that in the next video, he was commended as one who pleased God. Notice you have the same verb there, but it's different morphology, and he was pleasing to God. And so here the Hebrews author is drawing on the Septuagint or the Old Greek form as opposed to presumably some Hebrew version that we see in the Masoretic that had walked instead of pleased. And that's pretty common for Hebrews. Typically the Hebrews author, if not always, is drawing on the Old Greek or Septuagint. So pretty interesting that he's picking up on that. We'll come back to this in the next video because the other bits of Hebrews 11:5 also draw on this scene with Enoch, but in the next verse. He takes it a bit out of order, if you will. So we'll come back to that in the next video. Hopefully this has been a fun connection forward to the Hall of Faith, Enoch being one of them, because he pleased God.